For years, All Girls Garage wasn't just a car show, it was a movement. An all-female team tearing down engines, rebuilding classics, and proving they belonged in a space that rarely gave them the spotlight. The fan base was loyal. The builds were bold. Everything seemed solid. And then, things got quiet. Cast members left, episodes slowed down, promotion faded, no dramatic announcement, no clear goodbye. So what really happened? Was it canceled behind closed doors? Did something go down off camera? Or did the truth hide in plain sight? Today we're breaking down the full story. It's not and it's not what most people think. It didn't take long for All Girls Garage to stand out. When it premiered in 2012, the automotive TV world looked almost identical across the board. Loud shops, male hosts, and the same recycled formulas. Then suddenly, here was a team of highly skilled women tearing down engines, fabricating parts, restoring classics, and doing it without playing into stereotypes. It wasn't marketed as a gimmick. It was real mechanical work, and viewers could tell. The chemistry felt natural. The builds were ambitious, and the show wasn't just swapping spark plugs. They were tackling full restorations, performance upgrades, and custom projects that demanded serious expertise. That authenticity built trust fast. Fans appreciated that the focus stayed on the craft, not forced drama. Ratings held steady, the audience grew, and the series carved out a respected place under the Motor Trend banner. It became proof that the automotive world was bigger than what cable TV had been showing for decades. But while the momentum looked solid on screen, stability in television is never guaranteed. And behind that growing success, subtle changes were already beginning to take shape. While fans focused on who was leaving the garage, the real transformation was happening at the corporate level. Motor Trend wasn't just producing cable shows anymore. It was aggressively pivoting towards streaming. The launch and expansion of Motor Trend's digital platform reshaped priorities fast. Suddenly, success wasn't measured the same way. Traditional TV ratings mattered less. Subscriber growth and digital engagement mattered more. That shift changed everything. Budgets were reassessed, production strategies evolved, some shows were pushed heavily into streaming, others received less promotion on cable. Even solid performers could lose momentum if they didn't perfectly align with the new direction. At the same time, the entire automotive TV landscape was shrinking. Cable audiences were declining across the board. Networks weren't canceling shows in dramatic fashion. They were quietly trimming costs and consolidating content. From the outside, it looked like nothing dramatic was happening, no explosive headlines, no public fallout. But internally, the business model was being rebuilt. And when a network restructures, even long-running series can get caught in the crossfire. That's when viewers started noticing something else, not a cancellation, but a silence. Then came the shifts that fans couldn't ignore. One season, everything felt familiar. The next, a key face was suddenly gone. When Christy Lee stepped away, viewers immediately started asking questions. There wasn't a dramatic farewell episode or a detailed explanation, just a quiet transition. Later, Faye Hadley also moved on, and once again, the change felt abrupt to longtime followers. Anytime a show built on chemistry starts rotating cast members, people notice. And when explanations are brief or businesslike, speculation fills the gap. Were there creative disagreements, contract issues, behind-the-scenes tension, online forums lit up with theories, even though no verified fallout ever surfaced? The reality is, television contracts expire, personal brands grow, opportunities shift. But from the outside, it can look like something bigger is brewing, especially when departures happen close together. Still, cast changes alone don't sink a long-running series. Plenty of shows survive lineup swaps, so if that wasn't the core issue, what was? That's when the spotlight moves away from the garage and onto the network itself. What made the situation feel unsettling wasn't a dramatic ending, it was the lack of one. There was no big farewell season, no emotional final episode, no official announcement declaring the show finished. Instead, updates became harder to find. Promotion slowed. New season news felt vague or delayed. For longtime viewers, that silence was louder than any cancellation headline. Episodes still existed, but the energy around the show felt different. It wasn't being pushed the same way. Social media buzz cooled off. Marketing shifted toward other projects, And in television, visibility is everything. When a network stops amplifying a show, it can feel like it's quietly being placed on the back burner. Fans started asking directly, is it over? Is it on hiatus? Did it get dropped? But networks don't always give clear answers during restructuring phases. Sometimes decisions are ongoing. Contracts are renegotiated, priorities are reevaluated, and while that happens, shows can drift into a gray area. Not officially canceled, but not actively spotlighted either. That gray area is where confusion grows, and when there's no clear statement, speculation takes over. Even if the truth is far less dramatic than people expect. Here's where the rumors really started to spiral. When a show fades without a clear explanation, people assume there has to be a hidden reason. Online threads suggested everything from internal feuds to network politics. Some even claim the show was pushed out. But when you strip away the speculation, there's no verified scandal tied to its shift in visibility. No confirmed behind-the-scenes blow-ups. No exposed conflict. No dramatic fallout that forced production to stop. What's far more likely is something less exciting, but more realistic. Media companies make strategic pivots all the time. When budgets tighten and platforms evolve, even respected series can be deprioritized. It's not personal, it's business. And business decisions rarely come with emotional explanations. The frustrating part is that silence leaves room for imagination. Viewers connect with hosts, they invest years into a show. So when things change without ceremony, it feels suspicious, but often it's just corporate restructuring playing out quietly. And while fans were trying to decode what happened, the hosts themselves were already moving forward, building something new outside the network spotlight. What's easy to miss in all of this is that the women behind All Girls Garage didn't slow down, they leveled up. Once the show's spotlight dimmed, each host leaned harder into her own lane. Bogie Latiner doubled down on hands-on builds and automotive education, continuing to champion women in skilled trades. Faye Hadley expanded her personal brand, launched independent projects, and built a strong digital presence that connected directly with fans. Christy Lee kept growing her footprint across automotive media, blending cars, motorcycles, and lifestyle content into her own evolving platform. In some ways, stepping outside a single network gave them more creative freedom. No strict format, no time limits, no corporate filter shaping every segment. They could experiment, collaborate, and speak directly to their audiences without waiting on renewal cycles. That's the part most viewers never see. When a TV chapter closes, or even just shifts, it doesn't mean careers stall. Sometimes it's the opposite, sometimes it's a reset. So while the show's future may feel uncertain, the impact didn't disappear. It simply moved beyond cable and into something more independent than ever before. So what really happened to All Girls Garage? It wasn't some explosive scandal or dramatic implosion behind closed doors. There was no shocking exposé, no confirmed fallout that brought everything crashing down. Instead, it was something far more common and far less talked about. The media landscape shifted, streaming took priority, budgets were reshuffled, and like many shows during that transition, it slowly drifted out of the spotlight. But here's the part that matters. The show proved something bigger than ratings. It challenged stereotypes in automotive TV and built a loyal audience that still cares years later. And the women who made it successful didn't disappear. They adapted, expanded, and kept building in their own ways. Sometimes what feels like an ending is really just evolution. The garage doors may not be open the same way they once were, but the engine behind it, that's still running.